In 2024, Apple released the M4 iPad Pros, and honestly, it felt like 2018 all over again. It was sleek, powerful, and a complete overhaul across the board, not just with the iPad, but also with its accessories. So let's break down why this iPad still matters and who it's exactly for. Starting with the design, from the front and the back, the iPad might look really similar. And at first glance, it really does. But when you turn the iPad to the side, that's where things get interesting. Because the M4 iPad Pro, specifically the 13-inch one, is not only the thinnest iPad ever made, but the thinnest Apple product. And honestly, when I got to hold this iPad for the first time, I was really amazed at how thin it was. But then at the same time, I thought, well, I'm just gonna put a case on this. So why does thinness even matter? And you might be right. It doesn't really matter how thin the device is, but what matters a lot, especially for me, was the weight. These iPads are meant to be brought around, so the fact that the iPad wasn't just thinner but a lot lighter than previous 12.9 and 13-inch iPad Pros was a huge deal, especially used with the Magic Keyboard, because as a package, the iPad Pro and the Magic Keyboard on the older generations got really heavy. And using this iPad Pro, even the 13-inch with the keyboard felt a lot lighter compared to older models with their Magic Keyboards. The iPad still maintains the flat aluminum design. It looks robust, modern, and honestly really nice. So even if this iPad is really thin, Apple still managed to make it somewhat structurally rigid. But I'd still recommend using a case with it because accidents can really happen, especially with tablets of this size and of this thinness. So yeah, when it comes to the design, the M4 iPad Pro was a really big step in the right direction. It wasn't a complete groundbreaking overhaul and change from previous iPad models, but the things Apple changed were really meaningful and actually do affect the day-to-day user experience. Now let's talk about the screen on this thing, because the display on the iPad Pro M4 was arguably the biggest upgrade it got. So on previous iPads, we had pretty good screens before. Comparing it to the 12.9-inch iPad Pro before, it had a mini LED display, the same ones that the MacBook Pros use. And this is still a really good screen until today. It's a hybrid between LCD and somewhat being OLED, having local dimming zones, meaning that some parts of the screen could turn off and turn black. But the problem was this screen was really prone to blooming, especially when looking at bright, high contrast items with a black background. But the screen on the iPad Pro M4 fixes all of that, because now, for the first time ever on an iPad, Apple moved from LCD and mini LED, a form of LCD, to OLED. But of course, OLED has its own set of problems like burn-in and having lower brightness. But Apple fixed this, not by using one OLED panel, but having two. So the iPad Pro M4 features the very first tandem OLED screen ever seen on an iPad or any Apple product, meaning not only does it get all the benefits of OLED, having those deep, rich blacks, no blooming at all, high contrast, but also because it's tandem OLED means that it can sustain high brightness just like previous iPad Pro models with mini LED. And due to its nature of being two panels, over time it can distribute the wear and tear of the panels by switching between the two, meaning the display on this iPad Pro is a lot less prone to burn-in or damage over time. So yeah, the iPad Pro M4 screen is absolutely stunning, and for me, the biggest upgrade that actually came with this iPad Pro. After looking at the screen, you can really notice the difference even compared to mini LED. So yeah, the display on the iPad Pro M4 is absolutely phenomenal, and the best part is that this tandem OLED display doesn't only come to the 13-inch size but also the 11-inch. So if you're a smaller iPad user or a larger iPad user, you both get the benefits of this amazing OLED display. Talking about performance, the M4 chip is an absolute powerhouse. It can handle everything from demanding games to high-level tasks like video editing, photo editing, and everything you can think of. And even compared to the M1 and M2 inside previous iPad Pros, the M4 was a really substantial jump. Though, if you're a casual user, will you notice anything? Honestly, not really, because iPad OS was already handled so well and smoothly by M1 and M2 generation iPads that now that the iPad has M4, it should feel about the same. But the good thing is, having the M4 chip and its huge performance jump means that years down the line, this iPad will still perform really well and still be as smooth as it is now. So when it comes to software, there's two ways we can approach this. The first one being as a laptop replacement, and the second one being as an iPad. Because if we look at iPadOS as a laptop replacement, I don't think we're there yet. Because Apple has made lots of really good improvements, okay? Don't get me wrong. Apple has made lots of key improvements with iPadOS in the past few years. But honestly, the iPad isn't anywhere near replacing a Mac for everyone, especially for those people that need those specific apps or applications or really have specific workflows that only a Mac can handle. Though it is getting better, especially for those who are doing simpler tasks. The iPad Pro actually can be a suitable laptop replacement. But when we look at it as an iPad, iPadOS just fits in so well. As a tablet, iPadOS and the iPad Pro really provide sort of the best world-class experiences in terms of smoothness, fluidity, performance, even gaming. All of these work really, really well on the iPad. And I think this is really where it excels. So iPadOS definitely isn't for everyone, because if you're looking for a laptop replacement, you should just be getting a Mac. But if you're looking for a really great tablet or maybe something in between, iPadOS and the iPad Pro M4 might just be it. So when it comes to the cameras, speakers, and mics, starting with the cameras, they still remain great. The front-facing camera on the iPad Pro was finally moved to landscape after years and years of asking for it, a no-brainer move. And the rear camera still remains fine for taking those occasional documents and photos. But an interesting thing here that Apple did compared to the M2 and M1 iPad Pros and even the 2020 iPad Pro is that they removed the ultra-wide camera on the back. And honestly, this really isn't a big deal because I don't think iPads were really known for taking the best pictures anyway. But it is interesting that Apple decided to remove this and not mention it when it first came out. Now, when it comes to speakers and mics, they still sound really great. The microphones still sound crystal clear, but one thing to note, because the iPad actually got thinner than the previous iPads, the speakers might sound a little worse compared to before, but unless you have both iPads side by side, you won't really notice a major difference. Alright, now let's talk about battery life, because from the onset, it might look like this iPad would have worse battery life. I mean, a more powerful chip combined with a thinner design and probably a smaller battery means that this iPad probably has really horrible battery life, right? But actually, the iPad battery life still remains great, and honestly, the same as it has been for the past years. Apple still rates this iPad at 10 hours, and in my experience, with light to medium use, this iPad can still last all day. But of course, as with all M1 and up generation iPads, when you really push this thing to its max, at max performance, especially when gaming or doing heavy tasks, the battery can really drain down. But with light to normal use, battery life on this iPad still remains really great. And I also wanted to mention the new Apple Pencil and Magic Keyboard that came alongside this iPad Pro, because not only was the iPad itself upgraded, but also the pencil and keyboard. So what's new with the pencil? It now features haptic feedback, meaning it can make vibrations depending on the action or gesture you make. The Apple Pencil Pro also now supports Find My, which is so useful, especially if you're someone who tends to lose things. And when it comes to the Magic Keyboard, Apple also upgraded this by now making it out of aluminum on the palm rest area, making it actually feel a lot more like a Mac. But personally, that wasn't even the biggest upgrade. The biggest upgrade for me was this keyboard finally got a row of function keys on top. Only third-party manufacturers like Logitech and others had function rows. So now that Apple finally added the function row, it was such a big upgrade, being able to adjust brightness, volume, play, pause, skip, and all these other things now on the keyboard itself was such a big upgrade for this accessory. So yeah, as a package, not only did the iPad get an upgrade, but also its two closest companions, the Apple Pencil Pro and the Magic Keyboard. The M4 iPad Pro might not be the newest, but it definitely feels like we're at the peak. Incredible screen, blazing fast performance, and pro-level accessories to match. The iPad Pro has never felt more complete. So yeah, will you be getting an M4 iPad Pro? And if you have one right now, how has your performance been? Let me know down below in the comments. So this is the M4 iPad Pro. Peak iPad. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time.